Hey, good morning, guys. We're getting the PPI dumping right as we speak. So the month-on-month PPIs came in lower than expected. So that's a good thing. Okay. The year-on-year is higher than expected. So things do seem to be looking in the right direction here. Okay, guys. This chart right here, the U.S. 2-year versus U.S. 10-year. This is shows the comparison of the yield inversion curve. So back September 24th, we uninverted the yield curve, and we're continuing to push away from that uninversion. So typically, once you uninvert, historically, you're looking 3 to 6 months after that before the markets start in a corrective phase. So be very mindful of that in your trading. We're looking into January, March before a corrective phase in the markets based off historical standards of the uninversion of the yield curve. Okay. So basically, we're seeing a sustained bid in the 10-year versus the front end of the curve, the 2-year. So heads up, that is a more bullish for the financials. And this morning we are getting positive reactions in the financials based, this has a lot to do with that too, because we're heading into a phase in the market where financials should outperform the rest of the market into one of the last tiers of the market uh, uh, topping fight cycle. Okay. So basically, we've had a really nice rally. We could be having a nice little back test here on the uh, support here on the ZNs. We've come in just a little bit here on our 10-year Treasury notes, okay, into a very critical support area as we speak. I'm looking for this to actually fail and break support. So basically, this is the anchored view at the start of the week. We have rejected down here on the weekly time frame or right down on that trend line. I'm looking for this trend line to actually fail. So we'll see what happens here and go from there. Uh, uh, basically, and if you put an anchored VWAP, 1 second here, on 422. Actually, I'm going to correct my little statement there. We'll see what happens. We're at very critical support. So if you, at the bottom of this range, if you put an anchored VWAP, this is right where you would expect a relief rally at the very least in the ZNs, the 10-year bonds. So that would suggest yields should come down for a potential relief rally. We're at trendline support, at anchored VWAP support. We've actually come down already, whipped right into our anchored VWAP and bounced right off of it on our ZNs, suggesting this area is likely to get at least short to medium term support relief rally in the bonds. So, or at the very least, consolidate here at this price point. So, be very mindful of that. That's not necessarily bullish for the banking index. So, but we are headed into a phase where the banks should outperform. Okay, we had J.P. Morgan this morning come out report initially this morning. Uh, about 30 minutes here. So J.P. Morgan is up on their earnings initially this morning, helping to give bid into the markets. Remember, J.P. Morgan is a major player in banks now. Wells Fargo is up on its earnings as well this morning. Okay, so be very mindful of both of those. That's a bullish side of the markets this morning. And if you go down on your indices, um, if you look here 1 second here, this here is this week's anchored VWAP, the 572.80. Bias should be up to the upside as long as we stay above that 572.80. Okay, so that's where our bias should remain above that. So, we are in a positive gamma situation as well above the 575 this morning to close off the week. Similar situation. We are above our anchored VWAP at the 487, 4720 area. So we're in a positive gamma situation as well on the Qs this morning. So be very mindful of that in today's trading. With the banks reporting, IWM should be the one that top focus, in my opinion. Okay, and we are trying to defend the October support early on this morning. So we've been basing down here. We've got the banks coming out right now. We're trying to defend October support early this morning. That's anchored view up support. Fading away a little bit here. So let's definitely keep that one on watch. We start accepting prices above the 217.50 area. We want to see that supported. Okay, and so far it's having a little bit of trouble struggling here. Okay. And I do want to point out we really slowed down on the Russell this week. Our anchored view up wall puts us all the way up to 219.50. Okay, so we're on the bearish side of trend going into Friday and having positive results supposedly on the banks this morning. So we would want to see a possible trend reversal here in the Russell this morning. If the banks do catch a bid. So I would still be leaning much more to a buy the dip or buy the lacquers scenario in this market than try to push the leaders. So this would be my primary look for today, seeing if this thing can hold a bid today. So AMD had an investors conference yesterday. It didn't announce the type of information that they wanted to hear with their approach towards AI, and it got pummeled pretty bad. We gave up this week's anchored view up wall early on yesterday, and we're bouncing off last week's anchored view up wall. So that's kind of where we're at. We're right there in between those two ranges on AMD. Other in the news this morning, the robo-taxi event was a bomb. Okay, so we're currently opening below critical support here on Tesla. Personally, I would only look to the bearish side, possibly going all the way back down to the 215, 214 area. So in my opinion, I would only be looking to the bearish side on Tesla after this news event. Now let's see what happens. Anything can happen, but we're opening below critical supports. This now I can actually change the color of that from green uh, to purple. But this has not been proven resistance yet. A lot of times I will wait until the cash session proves this to be new resistance. So just be very mindful of that. And in today's trading, not looking good for Tesla. So my primary thesis, tech is not going to participate today. So be very mindful of that. Um, so we want to definitely keep that on watch here. Um, so we got a double top in right here. I'm definitely looking at the possibility coming back down to the 485 here on the Qs. So I definitely want to keep that in back of everybody's mind. We're hitting this all-time high area. Still having trouble breaking through. It's constructive, but um, it's not great yet. The thing is, like I said, we're above this week's anchored view app. You know, um, the tighter that anchored view app gets to that high going into the next week, the more likely it is to break out. So that's something I'm looking at here, that they may want to wind this up even tighter going into OPEX week, and today bring uh, you know go sideways or tighten that anchored view up. Possibly come down today, close and then close near the highs before the end of the session. So I want to keep the video somewhat short here, guys. So I'm going to think back till last Monday. And if you notice at the 5,800, we had 4,300 contracts as a call wall to the upside. But back on Monday, we still had 6,300 uh, contracts at 5,750. So there was a lot of people, a lot of traders still thinking that we were coming back down to 5,750 as of Monday. Well, that has all resolved to the upside. And now, if you look at it, the 5750s, you know, We still got 5,000 contracts there, but we have added a lot of contracts at the 5,800 going into today's expiration. So there's a huge call wall now at 5,800 here for the SPX. We're currently trading at well, basically 57.30, so 70 points higher. So just definitely keep that in watch, going into your trading. Same time frame, we've got a put wall right here at the 5,800. That's our big put wall as well. So be mindful of that. So that's why they're trying to keep this down, because that's where the most puts are in today's session, along with the most calls at that 5,800. So a lot of traders, they put these on in the money, so that remember, whenever they're putting a large put wall in the money, that means there's a lot of dollars being put in play right here at the 5,800. Uh, Considering it is the highest open interest. So be very mindful of that. Suggesting that they're going to do their best to let these expire worthless today. Okay. That's just pretty much my heads up on that, and we'll see you in the trading rooms. Hopefully, you guys like my videos. Uh, Please retweet me on Twitter if you get a chance. Like me on Twitter. Like me on the YouTube video, and please leave some comments below if you see something that I'm not seeing. And I appreciate everybody watching my video.